Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the second information session on this open call called Digit. We remind you that participants can ask questions by speaking live or by typing the question in chat. Now, Mauro Drauli of Agency of Digital Italy present this open call, and then will be Antonio Archetti, and he answered about your question, and so we can start. Mauro?
Good afternoon to everybody. Can you hear me? Everything is okay? So
yeah.
Okay. So if everything is okay, this is my brief introduction. Really a brief introduction. Agency for Digital Italy, that is an agency of the Presidency of the Council, supports the Agency for Cooperation Development, the Italian Agency for Cooperation Development, in the Digit project. The Digit project has the goal of supporting the government of Mozambique in implementing his strategy for digital transformation of the country. And a small but significant part of this strategy is developing a tech hub in Maputo. So at the beginning of the year, the Agency for Cooperation and Development in Maputo published an open call. Probably all of you knows already this initiative because you are here. The role of AGD in this process is in opening up the participation to this open call as much as possible to all the potential participants that can bring an high value to this initiative. So just a few words in trying to explaining you where you can find information, and then Antonio will go on. So let's try. So really, all the official documentation is published on the website of the Agency for Cooperation in Maputo. We have organized, of course, in cooperation with the colleagues, just what we call a challenge page, because we suppose that developing this tech hub in Mozambique with a good impact is in any case a challenge. So there is a website called Parte Innovativi where you can find some information, generic information, and you can go to a web page that we call Diary, where you can find all the story of this project, and it's relevant for us. We have put at your disposal also a small service called in Italian Facciamo Squadra, that is, let's make a team, who wants to express the interest in the challenge can subscribe to this very simple service, so that at the end we have a list of about 50 economic operators that express their interest in joining up, in making a team. If you subscribe in these days to the tool, we will publish your name and your reference in a few days. We have also arranged a YouTube channel that is dedicated to the open initiative of the Agency for Digital Italy, but there is also some information, some useful video contents that is related to the initiative in Mozambique. So here you can find the recordings of all the previous sessions. We promise that we are going to organize this video contents in a playlist. So we have a playlist here with the video recorded and related to this initiative. I suppose that more or less it's enough. I wish you a good and effective session. The goal of this session, of course, is to give you some clarification in order to facilitate and promote the best participation to this initiative. So I suppose that is enough from my part, from my side. So please, Antonio, if you can go on, or in any case, if I forgot something, please tell me. But I suppose it's enough as introduction.
Okay, Mauro, thank you for your introduction to the session, so I can go on. Good afternoon. My name is Antonio Archetti, and I'm responsible for technical assistance to the Digit project. Before proceeding with a questions and answer session, I would like to share some consideration about the project and the preparation of proposals for the tender. But most of possible doubts that could arise when writing the proposals were already discussed in the previous info session held on 17th of January this year. So if you want, you can have a look at the video of that session that is available both on AGID and AX Maputo website. Anyway, This second session will try to give answers to participants that have more questions in order to prepare their proposals. I remind you that it's always possible to submit questions via email to the address maputo@aix.gov.it, to which we will respond within 1 or 2 working days. And all questions submitted during the info sessions or via email are published on the Maputo AIX page dedicated to the calls for proposals. I recall you that the deadline to request any clarification via email is set to 9th of April 2024. So, talking about public-private partnerships, I would like to inform you that including a local private sector's members in the consortium is strongly recommended, as it could increase sustainability of the action at the end of the project, and because AIX is promoting public-private partnerships in the implementation of its cooperation initiatives. Another clarification note is about the area in which the project must be implemented. We received few emails from consultants, members of associations, community activists, and other people from different areas of Mozambique. I remind those people that the project must be implemented in the area of Grande Maputo, meaning the area that comprises more or less Maracuene district, Maputo, and Matola. So, the physical infrastructure that will host the digital tech hub must reside in this area and must be owned by the public member of the consortium. This is clearly explained in the guidelines for applicants at section 1.2, expected result number 1. Now, the digital tech hub facilities should be preferably within the same premises, although they could be split among different spaces, but within a reasonable working distance, as, for instance, different spaces within the same university campus. One more note is about proposals evaluation. I remind you that applicants must submit a concept note and a full proposal at the same time. An evaluation commission will be created to assess the proposals. The steps and criteria for the evaluation process are described in section 2.3 of the guidelines for applicants. The director of AIX Maputo will formally appoint the evaluation commission's members only a few days before the proposal's presentation deadline. So with these few notes or considerations about the tender, I think I stop here and wait for your questions to try to answer here or in the next days within the frequently asked question file that will be published on Maputo site. Thank you for your attention. I'm back to you, Enrico.
Antonio, there is one question in chat. I don't know if you see. Vanessa asked the email.
Let me see.
I don't know if.
I think that my colleague Stefano will respond now. Vanessa Rodriguez, please can I have the email? Which email is Maputo? Okay. So Stefano already answered the question.
Perfect.
I can say that these brief notes that I gave here will be published as well in the frequently asked question file. Oh, is a private university allowed as host of the app? Not, because we said that the infrastructure must be owned by a public entity. Could be a public university, but not a private university. Private university can be a co-applicant.
We are waiting for someone books an intervention. But
don't think so until now. Don't see. But as I said, there is time until the 9th of April to submit questions via emails at the address written here by Stefano. It is maputo@ix.gov.it, to which we will respond as soon as possible. Yeah, this is the fact document. With all the questions we received until now at the end of the document.
Antonio.
Mauro, okay.
Yes, there is a participant.
No, it's just because I read the questions coming from Oleg Misikov, and the question was about is a private university, if a private university can host the hub. I'm really I don't know, but I would like to ask to Oleg some specification, which is his interpretation of hosting, because hosting and the lead applicants are not the same. Just to clarify, which is his doubt, if he is still online.
Stefano answered the question clearly.
Okay, the infrastructure. Okay, the infrastructure.
I understand that if a private university is a co-applicant, they could have some activities even inside the private university, but the physical infrastructure that will be refurbished or equipped with computers and all other means, technological means, should be owned by a Mozambican public institution that is the final destination, that will be the final destination of all these infrastructures, of technical infrastructure. They can be municipalities, public universities, and other public entities. We published a document that is on the Maputo website. It is a mapping of the entities, both private and public, that can be part of the project. so they could find these entities on this document. It is available and published on the Maputo AIC site.
Antonio,
Yes.
Reginaldo Suto booked for speaking.
Okay.
So we open microphone and webcam.
Okay.
He has to open. Okay. Welcome,
Hello.
Reginaldo.
Yes, I'm Reginaldo Suto. I'm a community worker from Chokwe. Yes, I got your brief explanation. That's interesting. About this call here, you said it is to be implemented in Maputo only. Yes, I understood. But there's another one which the deadline, similar of this one, the deadline is 5 April, which is for Northern region and the Central region. Do you have some information about it? Because it's on the date also, it's not out of the date.
Yes, of course. I think that our my colleague Stefano can answer this question because he's responsible for the other project and for the other tender that was launched almost 2 weeks ago. Stefano, to you.
Yes, hello. Hello. Yes, there is this other call for proposals with 2 lots, one for the center of Mozambique and one for the north of Mozambique. All the guidelines for applicants, all the and annexes to see, etc., need to be seen on the same website page as the digit. If you just go upper, maybe my colleagues from AGID can share it, otherwise I will share it. In the same maputo.aics.gov.it, there is this opportunities page, and in the page there are both this digit call for proposal for Maputo and the other one called Vamos Digital, which has,
Yes.
as you correctly said, there is a similar deadline. Actually, it's closer because we had no time, and we need to give time to the implementing agencies to do the work, so we couldn't. We didn't have a luxury to waste more time. And there are some small differences in the eligibility of the lead applicant. In this call, you see that only European-based applicant can be the lead applicant, while in the other one, we put any non-profit organization from all over the world in practice can be the lead applicant. And then the other difference is that the other call is funded by the European Union, while this one that for which we are doing this session today is funded only by the Italian government. But yes, please, I hope that you can read the guidelines for applicants. There are small differences. There is also another difference in terms of how detailed the activities are written there, and the deliverables and the results. There is much more, if you say, guidance, which sometimes is not good, or sometimes is good. In this one, you have more freedom to be a bit more creative in order on how to reach the results. So I hope that you can see that, and you can still write questions about the other call for proposals to the same address, maputo@aics.gov.it. So any questions we will receive at the same email. Over.
Yeah, yes, I'm still here. Can I continue my question?
Please.
Talking about this, call it the Vamos Digital, the one which ends on the deadline is 5 April. What do you mean when you talk about the lead applicant? Cannot be the local one, but the European, something you said similar about the lead. What did you say when we talk about Vamos Digital?
I just said that there is a difference in the criteria for eligibility of the lead applicant. In this call, as you can see from the guidelines for applicants of the digit, you will see that the lead applicant must be established in a European member state. While in the VAMOS Digital, you will see, if you open the guidelines for applicants, that the lead applicant can be established in virtually any country which is a beneficiary of the NDICI instrument of the European Union. There is all guidance there to see, but in practice, if you're not North Korean, in practice I think you can apply. What is exactly your question? Do you need to know which country is eligible?
Yes, yeah, should be good.
Which country do you want? Which country do you want to check?
I'm in Mozambique. I just want to know Zimbabwe and Mozambique.
The Mozambican, are you a Mozambican public entity or Mozambican private entity, an NGO? You are excuse me?
Association.
An association. Well, as an association
in Mozambique,
you are virtually eligible for the VAMOS Digital, yes, but there are an association is usually in need of many other partners to make up a strong consortium, including a public entity, because the experience and the capacities, expertise required for the lead applicant are several. So please check all the. So you need to put up a strong team, including the public entity which needs to contribute with an infrastructure to establish the tech hub.
Okay, when you talk about infrastructures, you mean on the budget we cannot include the renting of the houses or building?
No, you cannot.
No. Oh.
It must be the contribution of a. This is both for the VAMOS Digital and for the digit. This is the same rule. The infrastructure or structure or physical facility, okay, needs to be a contribution by the government of Mozambique. Any institution of the government of Mozambique, even if this institution doesn't do anything in the project, but it must be owned by a Mozambican public institution, because all the investment with the grant money needs to go to enrich to make stronger a public institution, not a private institution. So this is the only rule that we established.
It means that we, during the time we are planning this, we need to be in partnership with the government so that we can have access of public infrastructures.
Yes, my colleague Antonio explained that it is required to apply through a consortium, or what we call the public-private partnership, which involves, yes, a public entity and private entities, which we hope they are private sector, like companies and NGOs or NGOs, but they must come from the private. They must be private owned, like NGOs or companies. Yes, but I really encourage you to read carefully the guidelines for applicants. Nowadays, you go to ChatGPT or any websites, you translate them into Portuguese. It will be much easier, because now we can discuss every detail, but there it is very clear where the kind of consortium that we require to apply, which must be led by a specific lead applicant. Then there are the co-applicants. You may have associates, you may have affiliates, but you need in the consortium, and you must put it in writing. You need to have a memorandum of understanding or an agreement, simple agreement with all the members, what they contribute with to the adventure, and so their responsibilities and what they can do, what they are able to do, what they are bringing. Okay.
I can see the most asked questions here. Will you share with us kindly this information?
It is already shared. It is on the website, this website that I'm writing now in the chat.
Okay.
Wait a second.
Okay, thank you.
Exactly where you found. Okay. It is already shared in the screen. That is the page in Portuguese. Okay. As you can see,
we share the link in the chat also.
Okay, perfect. Exactly.
Okay.
We have a question from Carla Leone, but Carla Leone booked for speaking, so she can speak live.
We don't hear her.
Carla, you have your mic off.
She removed the booking, so
I guess you can't hear me. She brought. Yeah.
But let's read the question. The question is: the project includes rehabilitation works for the tech hub building space. Would a building in very precarious conditions and therefore in need of major rehabilitation works be an added value or a limitation? What is the level of rehabilitation works that the project aims to perform? Tonino, do you want to answer?
I don't see the question in the chat. Is it in the chat?
Yes, it is in the chat.
Well, there is a budget line.
Now Carla Leone can to speak if she wants.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the question was the same of the chat box. I was just worried that it went lost among all the other comments. And it was mainly, yes, about the level of rehabilitation. For example, if we find a suitable space, maybe in a suburb of the city, which has great potential, is a great space, but it requires major rehabilitation works, which means a higher budget and more time allocated for the rehabilitation works, and so deducted from the activity. So would this case be a limitation or maybe an added value? Thank you.
Well, there is no formal limit to the budget for the rehabilitation costs. Of course, there are outputs to be met, to reach. So if you have 90% of the budget only on rehabilitation, it will be not possible to meet your goals or our goals, the project goals. So it's up to the consortia to decide how much can be dedicated to the infrastructure rehabilitation. I would like to say that if you have to renew, expand a little bit an infrastructure, it could be not only cheaper, but even faster. If you have to do a construction, a new, it will take you more time, especially you have to be licensed for the project to construct. So you have to take, you have to put more attention on these other aspects, not only financial aspects, but even, as you said, the time to arrive to a, let's say, usable infrastructure. But in terms of fund to be allocated, well, now I can just give some figures, but not as the official or formal limits. I think that would be reasonable to spend something about 100,000, 200,000, perhaps 300,000 euros to rehabilitate or expand the infrastructure. But if you are planning for more, then you have to put closer attention to the other activities that should be funded by the initiative.
May I add one thing, Carla? Of course, you have to start from the deliverables, the results that you have to get. If you think that with very few resources, you could achieve all the results and the deliverables that are required, then of course you can spend any money on the tech hub. But of course, it must, as Antonio was saying, you must be balanced. You must devote some resources to the infrastructure, which I wouldn't advise of the kind that you are saying, very, very run down or needing a lot of rehabilitation. No, restructuring. I wouldn't advise such a building, but you can spend some money on the rehabilitation, on the restructuring, refurbishing. Then you need to spend some money on the equipment for training and for incubation services, and also meeting areas, meeting rooms. Then you need to spend money for the training or to pay training by other institutions that you want them to deliver for free to your beneficiaries, because we have beneficiaries to support. So and then also the incubation services, some acceleration services, and the work to devise and then develop the public service, the digital public services that are also another desired result. So of course, the budget must be balanced. You can't spend all of it, and the money that we are granting is not too much. Is actually just the minimum necessary to run the activities that we desire. So it's really up to you, but you have to be careful. Over.
So we have one more question in the chat box by Rosa Refeba, and she asks, what is supposed to do in this tech hub? We have answered by Stefano. Okay.
Yes, I answered.
If you want to add someone else.
Yeah, I just wrote that everything that we want is already written in detail. So I really encourage everybody. Of course, this is an info session. We can talk. We can start talking now, but I think I fear that we would forget something. So in practice, what the Tech Hub should do is to concentrate in a physical space, which might be distributed into 2 or 3 buildings very close to one another if you want. It must not necessarily be a huge, unique building, but it must be facilities that are very close to each other. And then what you have to do there is mainly training, incubation services and acceleration services for startups. And thirdly, the development and the discussions with the companies to see what kind of competencies and skills they want you to train in the Tech Hub or through the Tech Hub, which kind of startups they would want as service providers, for example. And then you need to host possibly at the same Tech Hub, you need to host a so-called marketplace of ideas or hackathons, this kind of initiatives whereby you stimulate and select ideas, new apps, and then you pay maybe with the same, you offer grants to these young innovators to develop actually the app and then to market it, because it's not enough just to have an idea. You need to develop the app, and then you need to that somebody adopts it. For example, the public authorities need to be involved in all this thinking of which new innovative public services need to be developed, because then if you actually launch the hackathon and then some young startup, some young coder actually comes with the ideas, and the public services may actually be delivered nicely and in a smarter way, then you need to finance the development, and the public entity needs to adopt, to launch, to actually use these ideas. So we need for all these discussions some space, some meeting activities, networking activities. So the Tech Hub should be mainly these three things: training, space, even if, as I said, not necessarily all the training needs to be done at the Tech Hub, but it would be a good idea. Second, incubation services and support for the startups, or support for the competitive new companies to get access to financing solutions. There are many kind of institutions that want to channel funding and grants and support or cool loans to the new startups, but they need to meet them. And here you are, you have a Tech Hub, so they meet the companies that or programs or public programs or cooperation agencies programs which wanted to finance these youth can meet them, can see their startups, can know them better, and then the Tech Hub can help with a business plan and with the best choice of financing tool, for example. So the Tech Hub is this. You can find on the website a PowerPoint for the digit on the sub page, on the section of the digit program, call for proposal, and you find in the guidelines for applicants of the VAMOS Digital also another kind of explanation of a model, the same model, but written in a narrative way. So if you just check all the documents that you have shared on the website, you will find all the answers. Over.
So we have no more question now. We wait if someone. Reginaldo Suto wants to speak. We open your microphone and webcam. Now you can speak, please. Reginaldo?
Reginaldo, pode
you.
falar.
Reginaldo, you can speak.
If there is someone else. Otherwise, we can close the info session. Antonio, Stefano, what do you think? Antonio, we cannot hear you.
You are right, I was with mic off. Well, if there are no other questions, both on chat or... well, there is someone,
wait.
Federica Besana, okay. No, era Federica, ma okay, we are still waiting for...
Hello, I'm Roberto Novelli, colleague of Federica Besana.
Okay.
proposed. So don't be surprised for my voice. So quick. Do you expect for the sustainability of the post-implementation phase that the whole achievement will be handled by the public authorities that will be partner of the project? Or do you have in your mind some mitigation formula to reduce the risk of the post-project loss? You know, if you stay in the public financial statement of the state, it will be challenging to handle the take up. I hope the question was clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, but I would like to do the same question to you as a proposer, as an applicant, because we would like to have from applicants solutions to even to this sustainability problem. We said that we encourage and we promote public-private partnership exactly to increase the sustainability at the end of the project. But you can have a memorandum of understanding even before starting the project with the public institution that, for instance, could state what to do after the project end. We are open to solutions suggested by the applicants to the tender. There is not let's say, an exact and final response to this problem. There could be more suggestions or different suggestions from different participants to the tender. And we are willing to have from participants suggestions to how to solve, partially solve, let's say, the problem of sustainability. So, for instance, we can accept that during the project implementation or at the end of the project implementation, some activities could be partially paid by the beneficiaries, especially if these beneficiaries come from the private sector. For instance, if you are doing high-level training or advanced training on some specific topics in ICT, that could be probably partially paid by local private companies. That could be one idea. Or give other services to the ICT community that could be in some way paid partially. Anyway, that is an open question that we would like to have kind of suggestions from the proposal. Back to Enrico.
Thanks,
Antonio,
Mr. Archetti. Thanks for the answer. It was loud and clear.
we try another time with Reginaldo. Reginaldo, if you want. No. No answers. So Antonio, we can close this info session.
Yes, Reginaldo lowered his hand, so I think if there are no other questions, we can close the session and remind all the participants to have a closer, let's say, view at all the documentation available at Maputo site, especially the guidelines for grant applicants that explains many of the things that we have covered here and even others that we didn't cover today, but were covered on the during the first info session. Thank you to everybody for your participation, and hope you there is Soto once again first asking to enter. But anyway, he can write an email with all the questions that you would like to submit to us. So thank you, and bye bye everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.